Hey guys, I'm J-Mac. This is Raid Shadow Legends, and life has been crazy for me. I just feel like I cannot get caught up or ahead on anything, but stuff is finally starting to slow down. So hopefully that'll give me more time to start getting more videos made. I know they're nothing amazing, but I enjoy making them or making them, and enjoy talking about the game. Enjoy talking about Raid. So let's get into this one. We have the Pitiless One now. I decided to build him out simply on looks alone, and that is a bad idea. I've actually got a couple more. Franox. I built her out just because I like the way she looked too, so I need to get some gear on her, play around with her a little bit. Um, but Pitiless One, love the way he looks. Dude's got an awesome helmet, and it's just righteous. Uh, he's got the crossbow, but I love the blue and silver going on. But I love the helmet. He just looks amazing. First of all, getting into his skill sets. So the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each critical hit fills champion's turn meter by 5%. So from right there, you know he's going to have 100% crit rate. Uh, the 5% is not a lot, but he's hitting 2 times, so he's getting 10% each time he gets his A1 off, so it's better than just hitting 2 times and have nothing going on. His A2, I really like. It's an AoE. Each crit hit boosts the champion's turn meter by 15%. Starts out 4-turn cooldown, you can get a book down to 3. So that means going through waves, you're going up against 5 enemies. You're going to have 5 times 15 should be 75% fill on turn meter. If you're doing something like Spider, you get 100%. So, on Spider, he does his A2, and then he immediately go back into his A1, and then get a little bit more turn meter going. His passive, each crit hit fills champion, not fills, heals champion by 15% damage inflicted. So we got a little bit of self-sustainability and having trouble with my words today. Don't have any blessings on him. Aura, he has a 19% crit rate in all battles. Masteries, I did not put any masteries on him, and I'll explain why here in just a little bit. So he's got a 2-hitter on his A1, AoE on his A2. For the heals, for the turn meter, he needs crit damage. Or crit rate, sorry. So crit rate, you want to get above 100. And I'll go over his total stats here, then go back over the gear in just a second. So I was able to get HP up to 38k. Attack, I would love to get that higher. Speed, super, super slow. And what's bad about him is since his base speed is so low, the more speed you try to get on him, you're going to be sacrificing other things that he needs, the crit damage and attack. So he's just one of those champions. He's kind of hard to build out to make him any good. Crit rate, I got 100% and then 190% on the crit damage. Don't really care about resistant accuracy. Defense got a little bit on him, and it's just survivability. My goodness gracious. But one thing I was really thinking about the other day, and it's something I kind of forget to do when I'm watching other people build out champions, is your affinity bonuses from your Great Hall, Classic Arena, and Faction Guardians. These are huge. Just on HP alone, let's see, I've got 3,000, 4,000, almost 5,000, 6. So I'm over 6,500 just on HP from the bonuses. Classic Arena starting out, yours is going to be pretty low. Faction Guardians, it takes several months to get those built up. That's the same thing in Great Hall. It takes a long time to get those farmed up. So anytime you're looking at champion builds, pay attention to all this right here. Because most of the time when the content creators have been around for several years, they're putting this amazing gear on the champions. A lot of times they're showing like the true potential of putting this amazing gear on these champions, saying, okay, this is where you can stretch his limits to. The build I have him in, it's definitely not, I mean, beginner gear, but it's not god tier gear either. 5-star boots, speed 40. Got some defense. He needed some defense on him just so he can take some hits. I would have loved for that to have gone into crit rate instead, so I wouldn't have to use a crit rate set on him. But chest went attack, got some more crit rate. Would have loved to got speed boosted up there. I was able to do crit damage gloves. Early on, you're probably only going to be able to use crit rate gloves. But I was able to get crit damage gloves and got horrible rolls with attack and accuracy that I don't need. Shield, more crit rate, crit damage, a little bit of HP and defense. Helmets, more defense, HP, and attack, a little bit of everything with more crit rate. And then got good crit rate rolls on this, a little more crit damage and some attack. So this gear, like I said, it's not beginner gear, but it's also not in-game. It's just going to be kind of your mid-game, a little bit past mid-game maybe. I mean, it's what I had to do to get it. Went with the HP banner mainly because it had speed on it. Crit damage on the amulet. And then I would have loved to have gotten his attack up higher. Just going through the jewelry I had, this was kind of the best balance between getting attack and then a little bit more survivability with defense and HP. Like I said, with his speed being so low, it is going to be hard to get his speed up high enough, along with having good attack and good crit damage. He's really not that good of a champion. One thing he can do is he can farm 12-3 brutal. And I'm not gonna run through it by myself. I'm gonna put a few other champions in here. Let me go down, find some here. And I'm just gonna put some of these dudes in. That way they're not really helping. So he should lead off with his A2, that's his AoE, and it should be enough to knock everybody out. Doing masteries on this guy. So when I ran him through some stuff, I didn't feel like he was worth putting masteries on. I know his damage output could be higher, but I would not advise putting masteries on him because chances are you're only going to be using him in early game. By the time you get to mid game, any value he has is going to taper off tremendously. You can see, a 27-second run. I've run him through this a few times, and that's pretty consistent. 27. Obviously, like I said, you get masteries on him, he's going to do a little more damage. Might be able to trim a few seconds off. Get the support mastery for when your allies die, your speed goes up a little bit. But he just, in my opinion, he wasn't worth putting masteries into. And I was low on those gems, so I didn't want to spend my gems on masteries for him. So he can farm. I had him in the divine speed set, so that does help with survivability because he's getting that shield at the beginning. Let me run through. Let's see here. Dragon 20. And let me put kill in. I've run Venom Mage just because, needing poison stuff. Let me see how kill does. I haven't ran this group yet through there, but I was trying to find a group that I thought was fairly easy to put together, going into early game, late early game, early mid game. Deacon, I know there's promo codes starting out accounts that you can get him. Of course, got Pitiless One, and then rares. Kale, he's built okay, mediocre gear. It's been a while since I've used him, done anything with him. Bellower is my farmer, and so I've got his speed up decent. I think it's going to be above 220. Have his attack and crit rate and crit damage up as high as I could get it. And then Apothecary, just put some mediocre speed gear on him. But I think everybody at this point should know Apothecary. He's a great rare for speed and healing. But Deacon's laying down some defensive downs. Bellower, he's got the weak defensive down and weak attack it down. But he can also do the skill lockouts, put a slow on there. So, I mean, so far they're doing all right. I do want to see here. Oh, I don't want to heal yet. I was going to kind of show off his A2. It's going to be, he just used it. So, Pitiless One, if he's going to give anything to your group, it's just going to be from his A2 doing damage and refilling his turn meter. He has no buffs, no debuffs. So, I mean, you have to put support around him. He cannot carry a team on his own. And let me keep going here. Okay, so I probably shouldn't have taken Apothecary out because the more enemies you have, the more turn meter he gets. So if you're paying attention in the first round, after he does this, he just about filled his turn meter. I believe it would have been a right around here. So 75% right there and an extra little bit there. So anyways, he's just not really that great. Mainly because you get those waves and then you have a single target boss. You know, some bosses may have a minion or two with them, but his single target sucks because where he shines is that AoE and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. If they bumped it down to a 2-turn cooldown, you know, he just get a little more damage. And it's just cool to watch that turn meter fill up. He really needs an A3, I think, to be viable mid game to add something to your team. He's just not a champion that's going to stand out. He's not doing just something that's totally amazing. And I'm curious to see how much more damage Kel does because I know Kel's putting down poisons along with the normal damage that he's doing. So, like I said, Pitiless One, early game, I think he's great. If he's your first epic, definitely level him up to 40, level him up to 50. I don't see any waste in that. But I probably wouldn't invest books in him. I probably wouldn't invest masteries in him. And I may end up whopping right here. Let's see how we do. Because I had Venomage in there in place of Kel. And Venomage has, of course, his poisons, that heal reduction that reduces damage for your whole team. And I think that's kind of what I'm missing right here. So I want to keep talking about Pitiless One, but I kind of want to pay attention to this too, because like I said, I haven't run this crew yet. See how they do. But I guess anyway, by the time you get to Dragon 20, you're going to have better champions than Pitiless One to run through here. And that goes for any dungeon. By the time you get to farming 12-3 Brutal, you're probably going to have a better champion that can run through it quicker than the 26, 27 seconds. Like I said, it's just his A2 is kind of his key skill. There goes Apothecary. Can we do it? I mean, he's going to be the only one getting heals because he can heal himself. It'll be close. There we go. Alright, so lost a few in the mix. So, Pitiless One, like compared to Kel. Kel with his poisons, they add up. Chances are you start the game, you're probably going to start with Kale. So, I mean, they're fine teaming up together until you get someone else to take care of the role of the Pitiless One, because I got, debuffers here, a healer, and a speed buffer. Don't really get, my defense ups or shields, really, anything like that. But I'd say this is an average team. They were below average team, maybe. Uh, Dragons 20, 4 minutes, 55 seconds, lost a couple, but you see his damage output. It just, obviously, like I said, with masteries, I know that would go higher, but I think even with masteries, you're probably not going to match with Kale. And this is probably just a little unfair matchup because I do have masteries on Kale. I do have a blessing on him. He's going to be built a little bit better, but it has been a while since I've looked at Kale too. So obviously, Kale no masteries is going to go down some, but still his poisons, they rack up a lot. So by the time you get to this stage in the game, Dragon 20, 12-3, doing other dungeons, you're going to have better champions than him. He's just not bringing much to the table. Like I said, he would have to have an A3 with some cool ability. The A2 drop down to a 2-turn cooldown where you, ooh, I'll take that. Where you can keep that turn meter field going. I said Spider. Early game, he'd probably be great because you're getting that immediate attack because you do your A2, you have so many spiderlings that it fills it completely back up. So early stages Spider, he'd probably be great with helping. Of course, any AoE champion's going to be good. Early game Spider. But he's just one of those champions that said you want him to be good just because, for me anyway, I like the way he looks. Having a name, the Pitiless One, he doesn't show pity on people. You think would have some type of attack that he can take somebody out, but he's just one of those champions that looks cool, and that's really about as far as he goes. Like I said, I kind of thought about Relentless set for him, doing that A1, getting more chances to do that, to boost his turn meter more, but Relentless you're only getting from winning events, and just depending on where you're at, how much you play, how much you invest in the game. Early on, you may not be winning very much, and so it may be a while before you get your first Relentless sets. So it's kind of a downer. He's, like I said, he's one of those champions that I wanted to be decent, but he's really only going to be good early game. Don't invest books, don't invest masteries. If you just have to invest masteries, I would go down the attack tree, get your War Master, or maybe Giant Slayer because he's got a 2-hitter on the A1. Then doing support, maybe where he goes faster when your allies die for doing campaign farming. But like I said, by the time you get to all those stages in the game, all those points in the game, you're probably going to have better champions. So there he is. Pitiless One is kind of pitiful, but he'll kind of keep a special place in my heart because when my daughter had pulled him on her account, she saw the helmet. It was like, oh my gosh, Dad, he looks just like you. And so I kind of have that moment that I associate with him. So I'll keep him around. I mean, I'm not going to feed him or anything like that. But if you do feed him, don't feel bad about it. You're not losing much. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching. Hope this helps somebody out there maybe. But anyways, hope you all have a very blessed day. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.